Hello, and welcome to the Lee, Connecticut Improving Performance Through a Systemic Human Capital Approach module on induction. I'm Jim Smith, and I will be your narrator for this particular module. No matter what, thinking about human capital from an integrated and systemic approach is important. Induction is an important ingredient within a broader human capital approach. The reason that induction is so important is it's that first moment, through the first weeks, through the first years, that an employee is introduced to a culture of a school district and feels empowered to achieve at their best level and also feels a sense of belonging. All of those features are very important to an induction program that people are equipped to succeed from the day that they arrive in joining the district. Induction is a very powerful way to increase retention at the school district. Based on a recent study, we found that putting in an induction program can actually reduce attrition by about 65%, a sizable gain in retention. But the nuance of this finding is that actually it was the quality and the intensity of the program is what truly mattered. And walking you through the numbers, actually if you only put in a small induction program of simply 2 components, having a mentor and a beginning teacher seminar, it essentially made very little impact on your attrition after a single year. It actually took 3 components, a more robust induction program, and then the gain was sizable. It almost cut your attrition in half. And then after that, whether it was 3, 4, 5, or 6 components, again the results plateaued until you had a tremendously complex and comprehensive program that had 8 components, and then a district would realize even more significant gains and actually increase their retention and decrease their attrition by approximately 65%, the number indicated at the beginning of this particular slide. As you're thinking about induction, keep in mind that induction doesn't independently make a difference. It really should be part of a larger and more comprehensive development program. 4 components to think about in building a comprehensive development program would be on-the-job leadership development, mentoring and coaching, formal induction, as well as an ongoing management of the program that really look at all of the aspects fitting together in the induction program. For this particular module, we'll focus on mentoring and coaching and a formal induction training program. Mentoring and coaching are both important to the induction process. Their importance is both in terms of job performance as well as a sense of belonging to the school community overall. To think about mentoring and coaching, think about it from an intensity perspective. Mentoring is not quite as intense, important but not as intense, and as we move our way across the slide to the right, coaching increases the intensity and involvement of the coaching process. So from a mentoring perspective, it's those informal tips and techniques. Here's some lessons that I've learned from my experience that a more seasoned educator is passing along to a new educator. Versus the coaching model is a more rigorous and formal process of making sure that all aspects of practice and content are transmitted effectively to the new educator. And then in terms of how these mentoring and coaching, how they can actually happen, it can be an individual setting, group setting. Ultimately, it's aimed at making performance better, and then the other aspect is the intensity level decreases. There's a release of responsibility as the mentor lessens their responsibility and releases their responsibility, and the mentee increases their ownership and responsibility throughout the process. This gradual release of responsibility is a very important ingredient of a successful induction program. And at its heart, the concept is that at the very beginning, the responsibility lies with the mentor, and then over time, the responsibility is transitioned in a very thoughtful and methodical way to the mentee. As the mentee gains better awareness and an understanding of what they need to do to succeed in their particular field as an educator. A formal induction program is the formal process and program to effectively induct new teachers and principals into a school district. And as you're putting together your induction program and implementing it with fidelity, there are a number of questions that are important to ask yourself to make sure that your program is as effective as possible. So, just to kind of walk through these, does the program leverage your top performing teachers? So are your exemplary teachers given an opportunity to shine and to showcase their skills, abilities, and effectiveness? What type of material are you covering, and how much time are you dedicating to the material? So the basic scoping, sequence, and pacing questions that are common for educators in the classroom that are teaching students also apply to an induction program. And then common planning time. Some of the infrastructure pieces that are part of the school day are important ingredients to be thinking about in how your induction program supports or is supported by common planning time. And rehearsal opportunities. If you're trying something new, to have opportunities in a safe environment to explore and to get better are important. And finally, an opportunity to network and to grow through the network are all important features of a formal induction program. As important as induction programs are, the reality is that on-the-job experience is really where the majority of learning happens. And so part of the thought process in an induction program is to maximize and to optimize the on-the-job experience so that educators are prepared to gain the most from their day-to-day experiences to accelerate their learning so that they can be as effective as possible.